for REMSCO meeting to order for the Pledge to Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our military members, EMS providers, first responders, and all past regional council members. Thank you. Please be seated. With that, once again, we have taken the roll call of attendance. We do have a quorum in attendance for today's meeting. So I will make a motion to accept the minutes from the November 1st, 2023 meeting. Are there any questions, any amendments necessary to the meeting? I will take a motion. I have a second on the motion. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we'll move forward. All right. We'll commence with, once again, the New York State Bureau of EMS investigations, disciplinary actions since we last met on November 1st. With that, we've had a number of investigations, as well as investigations and sanctions. First being Titus Besh, EMT number 426343, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, Part 800.16. His certification has been revoked effective 10/16/2023, and it was posted on 11/22 of 2023. Catherine Seipel, EMT number 447565, for violations of Article 10, Part 800.3, .15, .16, and multiple sections in .16. And with that, suspended for 1 year effective 11/1/2023. Suspension has been stayed pending no further violations for a period of 3 years, and was assessed a civil penalty of $1,000 effective 11/22 of 2023. Stephen J. Rivera, EMT number 427041, for violation of Article 10, Part 800.3, was suspended for 1 year effective 10/17/2023. Suspension was stayed, placed on probation for 3 years, and assessed a civil penalty of $1,000, also posted on November 22nd, 2023. Joseph George, EMT number 503074, for violation of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations 800.16, revoked effective 10/20/23, and assessed a civil penalty of $500, posted on 11/22 of 2023. And last but not least, once again, Christopher Langevin, EMT number 153229, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations 800.3, 800.15, 800.16, was suspended for 1 year effective 11/8/2023. That suspension was also stayed pending no further violation for a period of 3 years, and assessed a civil penalty of $1,000 effective on 11/22/2023. Those are the disciplinary actions for that. Move on to communications and correspondence. Multiple emails have been received and sent out during the past 2 months. We had an email from Eva Pearson for the community at large position on the council. She has effectively resigned from the council effective 11/2/23. We also had an email once again from Olena Nix, who was the alternate for that community council seat, accepting appointment to the council, and that was on effective 11/8/2023 for the updated period. We received an email from Olena Nix, once again, who had moved up requesting alternate George Martinez be placed in the community seat as an alternate to her, and that was received on 11/16/2023. We had an email from Malloy University regarding Rockville Center Heart Safe Initiative Program that they were looking to institute, looking for EMS response information from the council in order to once again move forward with their planned program. An email from Robin Trott, once again, council contact information for Scott Kittigrad. Once again, welcome, Scott. Once again, he is now on the council, replacing past chairman Paul Diver. And once again, for Dr. Victor Politi as an alternate on the Nassau County seat on the council. An email from Anne Marie Glazer regarding resignation as the trauma program coordinator for NYU LI Long Island, as well as the RTAC committee. And an outgoing email was sent to the New York State Emergency Nurses Association for renewal of their seat on the council, which expired on 12/31/23 for an appointment and documentation regarding a council representative and also for an alternate. To date, once again, I've sent multiple emails. They are still interested in it, but have not responded with any documentation or any recommendations to fill that. We'll revisit that at the next meeting. Once again, may have to change that constituency. Any other questions on any emails or correspondence that went out? Okay. Move on to my report. Once again, we had an executive meeting just prior to this. A lot of things going on. I would ask that once again, we have the updated due to an omission and a problem. Once again, unintended, of course. The committee lists are posted across the way. The committee chairpersons will get out to the committee members to schedule some committee meetings. We have a lot going on this year. So once again, we will update you with that. We'd like to have a committee meeting at least quarterly going forward. I know a lot of committees have been meeting multiple times per month, but we do have a lot of things that are coming up, both on the state and the regional level that need to be addressed. So we're going to try and get those committees activated and once again, be able to manage everything that needs to be done here in the region. The 2024 REMSCO, as well as the Bureau of EMS Awards, will be posted on the website and be available starting this week through April 15th. As you know, we had 2 winners of the state awards last year. State awards are a little bit different than what we're looking to do regionally. The criteria for state awards are quite in depth and once again are very strict in their management. But we are looking to do regional awards. We are in consult with the Fire Commission and other agencies once again to recognize all agencies, whether they be hospital-based, commercial-based, as well as the Volunteer Ambulance Corps, the Police Department, to recognize those that have done exemplary work out there during 2023 and into 2024. I'm aware that they will be posted and can be accessed and sent in online with that. The New York EMS MOLS form has been updated in 2024. There's a new MOLS form that's been put out. All agencies should get their providers familiar with the new requirements regarding the MOLS form. There is a training on the Vital Signs Academy that can be accessed to familiarize yourself with the form as well as the necessary compliance for all EMS agencies. So please, agency managers and stuff, get this out. It goes out in the coordinated report every Friday. They need to get this out to all of their providers. The New York State EMS EPCR platform will upgrade this year to NEPSIS 3.5 beginning in January. So all agencies should be in contact with their vendors to make sure that they are compliant going forward, and that their vendors are able to meet the requirements of that. ALS credentialing, we have a bunch of ALS providers that are out there that have re-credentialed or once again recerted with the state and have failed to once again meet the credentialing requirements here in Nassau County. We need that to get done. We sent out, I believe, over 200 emails to those that once again have credentialed or have recertified but have failed to re-credential. And it's very important for us to be aware of who's working in the area because it does affect our website and the payments and stuff that go out quarterly in order for us to be able to access and use that platform with it. So if you're an agency manager, we're going to look to institute once again, maybe quarterly or semi-annual updates on your credentialed providers to make sure that we're all in compliance with REMAX requirements regarding that going forward. The New York State REMSCO and CMAQ meetings are scheduled for 2/6 and 2/7 of 2024. They are live streamed. There's a lot of important information coming up on the state requirements, especially regarding some of the training and also some of the other programs, quality assurance, quality metrics going forward that the state is going to require the region to provide. Image Trend Elite, the PCR, all agency managers should be on that platform once again and reviewing their EPCRs to make sure they're uploaded properly. It's the responsibility of all the EMS agencies and their EMS leadership to review PCR submissions to make sure that they're properly sent to the state portal, and that once again QA/QI is being done on that on an agency-wide basis. The REMAC as well as REMSCO will be instituting and revamping quality assurance, quality improvement region-wide for the system. So we need you to once again be cognizant of that. The eBridge system continues to move forward. Once again, minimal issues. We're looking at upgrading in various areas as we gradually improve the system. But all agencies should be training their new providers, as well as their old providers, to use that. It's the primary notification tool for the region. We do still have the radio system as well as telephones as a backup in case of a major issue or breakdown within the system. But to date, we've had no major problems with that. EMT sunsetting, once again, will come up under other reports and stuff. The state is looking at the sunsetting potentially in 2027 of the EMTCC program. So once again, I'm sure Training and Ed or the EMS coordinator will have more to elaborate on that as it goes forward. There will be a online submission once again for providers to be able to put in their thoughts and stuff on it. It will come up in February for a potential vote involving CMAQ as well as REMSCO on how the program will play out. The Nassau County EMS Memorial, I'm working on a schedule with an architect to develop a design for that to present to the county to see where we can place that within Eisenhower Park. I'm looking to do that sometime in January. I've contacted a couple of people who are very proficient in doing memorials, and he set me up with somebody who has done this in the past, and I will come back so that we can get some calculate some necessary funding as well as the design and look at it and try and move it forward. EMS labeling, all agencies are required to be labeled with the name of the agency as it appears on the agency's certificate of need. All right, so please, once again, it's, if you need to, see part 800.21 and the BEMS policy of 2014-03 for your agency requirements. There's been some issues and stuff recently involving infections and stuff to make sure that that's with that. Nassau County EMS Committee, there's no further update. We're hopeful that in the first quarter we'll get some information back regarding the committee's meetings of over 18 months regarding that. And the Nassau County RSI program moves forward. Dr. Newbert, I believe, is here. He'll have a report on that. And the disaster preparedness MCI committee, I'll leave that up to Chairman O'Hara to update you on where we are with that. Is there any other things that, any questions for me regarding any of the initiatives that are going on? Like I say, I want to thank everybody. I thank the executive board. We've had a ton of meetings the past 2 years. We've moved the ball forward. And I want to thank all the council members and stuff for their help going forward, because once again, we are starting to move in a positive direction. And I hopefully during the next year, once again, we can accomplish some of the missions that we've been on during the past 7 years. And once again, making sure that we keep the focus on the visitors as well as the residents of Nassau County, and that we can solidify the EMS system here in Nassau County. With that, once again, I'll move Vice Chairman's report, Dave Caldo.
Okay, so I have 2 reports. I'll do mine and then I'll do the financials. So we had a little issue with renewing our council insurance. They only wanted to renew it for 1 year because they found that we lost money. They don't understand. They thought we were a regular business and that we should be making money. They don't understand that we're giving money and our job is to spend it. So we've been renewed for the next year, and probably starting in September, we'll start the ball rolling to get multi-year renewal. That's really all I have under my report. On the financial, we had a check for Rescue Brain in October for $2,661.55 on the website. We had one in January to renew the website, same amount. In December, we had one to Don Hudson for a REMSCO rebate for $657.62. Fortunately, we have a debit card now. We had to take care of some business with the IRS. It can only be done with credit cards, so we rocked it, and they would pay $275 for reorganizational structure for something the way we changed the council. In the checking balance, we have $20,761.83. In the savings account, we have $24,434.39. The money market account, we have $67,035.37. In November 2nd, we got our first check from the state for $18,677.41 for the program agency. So that was a good thing. And I think that is all I have. Any questions?
Yes.
I'll leave it approval for the expenditures.
Okay. Secretary Treasurer report, Thomas DeMee. Move on to State EMS Representative Coordinator's report, Donald Hudson.
So as you said, the state meeting was earlier in December. We meet again in February. The report's posted on the weekly report and the other stuff. So I'll let you leave it at that, but I'll be happy to answer any questions if you want. You're going to do sunset? You want? Okay.
Okay. Any questions for our EMS rep? Okay, we'll move on. Council committee reports. As I said, most of my stuff was covered under the executive council meeting. Once again, thank you to all. Once again, we have a lot of work to do this year, a lot of things coming up, and the state's going to be looking at a lot of different requirements here for the region. So please, once again, attend the meetings. If you know of anybody that's interested in EMS, especially some younger EMS providers, please bring them down. Once again, we can use all the help that we can. If you want to get on committee, feel free. Let us know. Any emails or anything that you want brought up, please bring it to us and send it through our REMSCO email account at remsco@nassauems.org, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible with that. REMAC, Dr. Chiasen is excused today. I'll move to Dr. Kugler for REMAC.
So a letter was sent out to the REMAC members and some of the members on this committee. First, Happy New Year. it was a letter of thanks to everybody, especially recognizing the members of this committee for the support of the REMAC and all the incredible things that the county and the region have done over the past couple of years to grow and develop EMS as a system in the region. We're slowly, inch by inch, not taking big strides, but little baby steps, moving forward, and we're progressing. So thank you very much to this committee, and Happy New Year. With that, a bunch of business was conducted. One was a re-election of the officers. The slate is unchanged. The officers are remaining in their position. 2 members resigned from the committee. There were 2 non-voting members sitting in the wings. They were moved up to voting positions, so the seats remain full at 20. See, the February meeting date conflicts with the New York State Department of Health meetings. Dr. Bramonti recommended that we move the date instead of back one to Valentine's Day, move it forward to the last Wednesday in January, of the last Wednesday of this month. So the Nassau County REMAC meeting for February will be held on Wednesday, January 31st, with an RSI meeting at 1 o'clock, REMAC at 2:15. We accepted the resignation of Drs. David Ng and Dr. Sal Pardo. Wish them well. We added Dr. Caitlin Keenan and Dr. Silver, Dr. David Silver from NYU and from Glen Cove as voting members. Glen Cove, I'll leave this under RSI, but I'm very happy to say that Nassau County now has an RSI approved agency. That's Unified Park. Glen Cove has applied to be an RSI agency under Dr. Silver. The quality subcommittee is expanding. Dr. Zazzo is taking on he's getting basically a full-time job overseeing not just pre-hospital care and quality, but quality and care for specifically RSI, which has its own subcommittee. The field response team, which was a recommendation of Dr. Shearson, the physician field response doctors, we need to QA them. And also, eBridge is its own subcommittee under quality. So that should be a pretty extensive report going forward. Maybe not in January because we've got to let everybody's feet get wet, but it's something that we're looking at. And given all the technology that we have, it provides an enormous amount of data. The annual letters of medical director affiliation were sent out in November by email to the agency managers, and then December. The first bad boy letters are going to be recognized in the county coordinators report at the end of the week for those agencies that haven't responded yet. Yes, it's only the first week of January, but by January 31st of last year, we had 100% compliance without any issues or reminders. So we want to keep that streak up and try and go for 2 years in a row where we're on time. So please, if your agency manager hasn't gotten the agency medical director to sign that affiliation letter, please have them do that. We don't want to replace your agency medical director. It's just too much work. What will end up happening is if your agency doesn't have a medical director, it gets downgraded to PLS. Also with that, the agency, the Nassau County REMAC membership letters were sent out to those members who had minimal attendance at the meetings, whether it was for legitimate excuses or for true absences, seeking their intention. This is something that we do at the end of every term. Most of the letters have been returned, and most everybody wants to stay. There have been a couple of letters that haven't been received yet by members, and if those participants don't send us letters of intent back, they'll be dropped from the rolls, and we'll move 2 additional positions into express membership into the committee. That's all I have for REMAC. Any questions?
Do we have any questions for Dr. Kugler?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Communications. Karen, do you have anything?
No, we're not meeting. You're on that committee, be prepared.
Thank you, Carol. Disaster planning. MCI. Kevin O'Hara.
As I reported, as we're well aware of, the MCI plan has been approved and adopted by Nassau County. With that, we turned it over to our education and training group, and that's basically comprised of the MCI committee as well as those members of the training and education. Our goal was discussing how we're going to roll out this plan to fire departments as well as with that is voluntary ambulance services and the police department. Putting our heads together, we thought rather than coming up with a, you know, as we like to say, one of those long type of module, long type of trainings, an hour, 2, 3 hour training. We figured small vignettes, small learning vignettes, because most of the people know how to triage. It's the real big aspect it is the matrix, okay? And you know, how you can utilize and adopt that. So with that, that's what we're doing now, meeting to try to put up these small little learning vignettes. We're hopefully going to, rather than do an in-person training, most likely be able to use some type of a learning management system, make it into 4 modules, don't hold me to the number, but small modules. But in addition to that, we thought that it's very important too that the fire department and the EMS providers, executive management, leadership, and that could be chiefs, that could be commissioners, etc., start to understand what this policy is. And we thought we would roll that out at some of their executive meetings. Hopefully we could get involved in that and tell them the importance of this plan and to some respect, how they probably have to adopt it, understand it, because there could be some legal implementations. Maybe perhaps if they did not follow the plan that has been adopted by the county. So that's where we're sitting right now. We do have a meeting scheduled in another couple of weeks with training and ed, and hopefully next meeting we'll have a little more, maybe even to the point where we'll have some, maybe can give you some examples of the training vignettes or whatever we're doing. And as I also mentioned too, we'd like to, I think one of the first way that I'm going to roll this out is that next month, the Fire Service Academy runs an executive management class, and they break it up into like 8 different monthly modules, and one of them is EMS. And with that, I'm going to roll out and kind of, you know, mention this plan and where it is, and we can maybe get some more feedback there and see how I can bring it back to the training and ed community. So that's all I have right now.
Yeah. Anyway, any questions for Kevin? As I said, most important part is once again getting it out and having the leadership here in the county understand the plan and the requirements of the plan and how it will assist the agencies with that. So we've been very fortunate the past couple of years. Our virtual meetings have grown. We've had a lot of input from a lot of different agencies, a lot of different providers. We had well over 100 our last meeting back in November, and we anticipate that we're going to be rolling out another virtual meeting here in the first quarter to once again work with MCI and with training and various components with that, and hopefully once again we can start to push this forward, that all of our agencies be aware of the system and once again the MCI plan, and that we can get buy-in from not only the medical directors but the agency leadership and roll that out to the providers from the agency level. Education and training, Ed Wolford.
Good afternoon, happy New Year. So one thing that Chairman Mackey alluded to or started to discuss is up on the state level, the sunsetting of the EMTCC certification. The REMSCO has tentatively put up a date, REMSCO has tentatively put up a date for July 1st of 2027 to sunset that certification. That date was more to spur conversation. The CMAC meeting was canceled, so I'm sure will be a robust discussion going on at the February CMAC and REMSCO meetings to determine what is going to go on with this level of certification. There will be a survey that will be going out to providers to get their feedback, and that will be part of the discussion that goes on the state level. If you don't comment, no one's gonna know what your opinions are. So we highly suggest that you put it in there, because if you're for one way or the other and you don't participate in the surveys, then, you know, your voice isn't heard or isn't discussed. Going along with that, hand in hand, the EMTCC Bridge program, student participation has been low. The last 3 cohorts combined that are going on now are less than 60 students statewide. So right now, currently is being offered biannually. Going along with the discussion of ending the certification. We're waiting to see, along with discussions with the Bureau, how the April cohort goes. We may decide just to hold it annually, because the core sponsors throughout the state really can't support one student coming in and handling it. So these are things that are going on. So if you plan on taking the program, or you know people in your agency that plan on taking the program, please, by all means, have them sign up and do so, or drop down to AEMT or whatever they want to do. Just write it out. That's completely up to them. Just know that there are options out there for everyone. We don't want to take any training away from anybody. So if the need is there, we are more than happy throughout the state to provide the education. But right now, the need doesn't seem to be there in both. So please keep that in mind, pass that along to your agencies. Reach out if you have any questions. The rumor mill is unreal, to say the least, of the lack of information, or say, if there's not a lack of information, it's the lack of appropriate information, where we hear things, some of it came out in the meeting that Don ran as the coordinator, a couple weeks ago. It's come to these meetings to get the information from the people that are actually doing it. Listening to the EMS ambulance scuttlebutt or the firehouse scuttlebutt 99 times out of 100 is not going to be correct. It's going to be misinformation to get people's prejudices in there. So please, we don't want to see anybody get caught short because they heard something and blew it off because they took it as gospel and go off from there. So please, please reach out and get the information. If you really don't know, don't spread misinformation. So that's one of the things we're combating now, both on the county level and the state level, trying to get things played out. Along with the thing for certifications, if you have been in a traditional refresher course or original course anytime soon, you know that the testing company, PSI, to put it lightly, is a disaster. Students are not being able to test, they're having issues. Please understand this is a third-party vendor for New York State. New York State is very well aware. They are trying to apply as much pressure as they possibly can. It's one of the times that I will say I will go to bat for the Bureau. They are doing everything they possibly can to get them to straighten up and provide the services that they're being paid for. But it's bad to say the least. Course sponsors aren't getting results. Students aren't being allowed to test. When students are testing, they're not getting their cards because the data is not being transferred from the testing company back to the Bureau so they can put it in the health commerce system. So even if you run it in the health commerce system, it's not going to be there. Tell your students when your students and your agency membership, when they get that paper from the testing company saying that they passed, they need to hold on to that paper because the Bureau is asking for that for confirmation so they can go back at the testing company. Right? So they've asked for it. I've had students say, well, I don't know what to do with that email, or I threw it out when they handed it to me. You got to take some responsibility for yourself and help us help you. The core sponsors can't help because we're not in the mix at all. It's between the Bureau and students and the testing company. So please keep in mind, we've had a few students who had been delayed so long, their certifications lapsed. So, it can affect your agencies being able to go out and treat patients. It can affect your job if you're being paid to do this. So it's a very real problem. And honestly, there are no answers on our end. We can only apply so much pressure. Believe it or not, it's not a small company. They're a very big company, but they did a software upgrade October 20th, I believe it was, and what was bad got significantly worse. So they know there's problems. They only return emails to deal with the health. So it's just please keep that in mind. It's not the Bureau, as much as we like to razz them on what they can and can't do. It's strictly the third party issue, and like I said, the Bureau is doing what they possibly can. So much so that they're actually looking to put another request out for a different company to go with for testing. So those are some of the things they're discussing about getting away from this testing.
Yeah, probably want to, can you just, on the CME and stuff on the 45-day? I know it's come up a couple of times this week. I've got a couple of emails about getting their paperwork
Yes,
and
New
stuff
York-
in.
The
the portal.
agency CME coordinators need to have the paperwork into the portal for 45 days prior to the certification expiration date of their member. So New York State's pretty strict on that. Gene Myers doesn't like to give any exemptions to that. His answer is find your next regional refresher class, take that, because he's not going to certify. So please do it ahead of time. I know in our program, we do 90 days prior because it gives these CME coordinators time. Just remember, just because you hand it to your CME coordinator 46 days prior to your expiration date, they still got work to do. First, they got to find your medical director, right? So, you know, depending on how engaging that is, you have to go through your records, make sure that you have everything, make sure that you meet all the requirements. They sign off on it, your medical director signs off, and then it's got to go to the state. If you're past that 45-day mark, you're going to expire.
And on that, because if you're in that window where you're CC and planning on bridging up, and you miss the window of that 45 days, again, your card will expire. You will not be able to access the program. So it's very important. I've gotten a couple of emails and stuff past week regarding exemptions and other issues. So, you know, once again, make sure your CME coordinators, people that are looking after you to make sure your certifications are up, that you're not only doing it, but making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do as well. We'll move on to legal and government affairs. Dr. Booten. Public education, REMSCO awards, Chief Chester.
Looking forward to receiving the applications. Before that, to establish some possibilities that maybe creating a couple of new awards that don't meet the state criteria, because every year we get awards that don't fit into the state criteria, but that are good submissions. So we're going to get a meeting together and see if we can come up with something that makes sense. The people that are doing good jobs out there that make good submissions.
Yeah, we've made inroads with the fire commission. They've been forwarding us some of the EMS awards that we've not seen in the past, and we're looking to get a meeting and stuff with them. And it'll be open to, once again, all agencies. It doesn't matter whether you're in the fire service, hospital-based, commercial. Once again, if you're doing excellent work and stuff out there, we want to know about it, and that'll be posted up on our website, and we'll get the information, forward it back to us, and we'll try and take care of that for you. EMS systems, Chris Herring.
We have one item. In November, the council received a request from the Lakeview Fire District. They're citing staffing issues affecting their ability to handle volume EMS calls within their district. They requested downgrade. They're requesting a downgrade. They're currently in the number 4 position, and they're requesting a downgrade to number 6 position. EMS Systems Committee, upon reviewing, recommends approval of this downgrade request, and therefore, Mr. Chairman, we are submitting it to the council as a seconded motion.
Okay, thank you. We'll take that on. New business, along the same lines, once again, any agencies out there that are struggling with positioning, if you need to contact the council, all right, as you said, REMSCO at NassauEMS.org. We'll get back to you. Once again, we are looking to help everybody out there. You know, it's a tough business. But once again, if you're struggling, please let us know ahead of time. And also, once again, if you have any questions regarding transfers, we have a couple of transfers of authority in the portal currently. We foresee additional ones coming down the pike in the future. Please reach out to us if you're not familiar with the process, and we will try and help you out with that. Membership, Robin Trot.
Back here today. All REMSCO seat renewals for the end of 2023 have been completed, with the exception of the Emergency Nurses Association, which the membership committee has not received any info on member or.
Yeah, as I said earlier, We'll re-notify them one last time, and once again, we'll have to make a determination on that regarding that seat and open it up to another constituency that may be able to assist us in our endeavor.
And again, with the resignation of Anne Marie, we'll have to look into that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from membership? As I said, please send us excusals. We know life gets in the way sometimes. If you need an excusal for a meeting, but we are going to be monitoring attendance for these meetings, because we need a quorum to be able to get through the business and stuff required by the region as well as the state in order for us to progress further. Hospital Emergency Department, Dana Porter-Pascal. There's no report. All right, we'll move on to subcommittees. I'll move to Dr. Newbert, the BLS iGel pilot program.
Thanks, everybody. So iGel program's going well. It's 17 agencies in the county that are currently participating. The newest additions are Uniondale Fire Department and Lookout Lido Fire Department, and we're looking to get their hands-on training at the FDA. We're working on that now. No uses yet that I know of or that's reported to us, but we still showed that we can train a whole lot of providers and a whole lot of agencies. So it's we're still part of the program. I think it was a very good initiative. So it's still going on the rest of the year. So I think the pilot ends at the end of this year, if I understand correctly. It was like a year and a half pilot. So
yeah, I believe there was about 150 submissions the last I was told.
Yeah. Yeah, I think upstate they're using them. I think we just have a lot of ALS here, so it just hasn't come up yet. But it is important to know if you're BLS trained and then the ALS provider, and the ALS provider is comfortable with the unique place in the airway, a BLS provider can that's trained can put the supraglottic airway in with an ALS provider there. So that also be part of it. That's the idea of the coordination. People aware of that.
Yeah, the more documentation we get, the sooner we'll be able to introduce it into the EMT curriculum.
Yes.
Well, I have you once again, the RSI committee.
Certainly. So RSI meets prior to REMAC. In December, we had 15 members of the committee at the meeting. There were a couple things that we agreed upon. The first was airway courses. It's a requirement to have a difficult airway course to be qualified to be a provider that can do RSI. That's pretty much the limiting factor for most of the providers that want to be RSI providers, because there's a limited number of spots and a limited number of courses. We agreed that it needs to be an in-person, hands-on course at an accepted training academy that's credentialed. So, of our credentialed academies, we were hoping that, it'd be one of our academies if possible. And we're looking with our friends from the Fire Police Academy that have been helping us with the iGel and doing that training, that we're going to take some of the Suffolk County course, develop our own course for Nassau County. So that way we'll have a course internal for the county that'll make it a little bit easier, that barrier. Right now, the biggest barrier to getting people RSI credentialed is that difficult airway course. So we're working on that, but we want to make sure that people are properly trained. We don't want people taking an online course. We want to make sure people get their hands on. We want to make sure that it's an actual legitimate course that they're getting trained in. So if we don't want to check a box, we want to make sure they actually have training. So New Hyde Park, as Dr. Kugler mentioned, now has one provider. You okay with this provider? Dr. Pino, right now, Hyde Park is the RSI trained approved provider in Nassau County. So we have one, and we made it over the finish line. Awesome. There are additional providers in Hyde Park that we're looking to get credentialed. Again, the limiting factor of that airway course, so we're working on that right now. Glen Cove EMS was also approved as an RSI agency. They have an application pending for one of their providers. We're processing that hopefully for next meeting. There were a couple additional training things that we required before we should process that one. So Glen Cove EMS is approved as an agency with no providers. New Hyde Park is approved as an agency with one provider, and we're looking as the year goes on to get more agencies and more provider training. But that we got over the finish line in 2024 as promised, so we are now live with RSI. So that's great. But we did it in a way that made sure that we checked all, we crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, and that we did it the right way. Reciprocity was a question that came up. We're not authorizing automatic reciprocity, but what we're requesting is a letter from the system medical director and a letter from the agency medical director. So if someone comes with an agency and system medical director letter that says they are qualified for this, that is obviously going to provide a lot of weight for us as the RSI committee to approve it. We didn't want there to be an automatic approval, but we wanted to make sure that we work with our neighbors properly. So that was the solution that we came to. And then we're going to coordinate credentialing with the Fire Police Academy, because they are also helping us with iGel and with, medical control and major medical control, those which, providers are at this point with one, so that's not hard. But as we get more, we want to make sure we have this in place, so that we work on that. So, that was from our meeting, and our next meeting will be, January 31st at 1 o'clock prior to the regular REMAC meeting, and we're gonna additionally, as with before, developing our own training program. Try to big push this year and then try to get that barrier out of the way that it will get reports that we make sure we're.
All right, thank you, Dr. Newman. Any questions for IGEL or RSI?
I do want to say thank you for everyone that participated, everyone that's part of that. We were getting a lot of buy-in and a lot of support, and it's really nice, and it's a really good initiative, and I'm glad that we have a lot of people working on it.
Well, thank you for putting all that time and stuff in and getting these guys together to push this forward. eBridge Communications, Dr.
So, couple of things. Don's been working very nicely with the General Devices folks to finalize the trauma button for trauma notification, so that when you hit yellow or red, it'll give you the criteria. Right? Am I incorrect? And so that came out very nice. We're hoping to implement it, but we wanted to discuss it here. Did you want to bring up anything special about it?
Just to dovetail off of that, we've made some inroads with the Regional Trauma Advisory Committee, the RTAC, which the program agency by contract is deemed to support. Their meeting is on the 18th, and we wanted to run it by all the trauma centers to make sure that what we were about to do actually meets their needs. Since I think one of their most frequent questions is, EMS interaction notifications and the like. So I don't know if that stymies it here or you want to wait for it. It should come up.
Well, as soon as RTAC approves it on the 18th, then we'll vote on it at REMAX on the 31st, and then providers may have to restart their eBridge applications, and they'll notice a change when they have the trauma notification. The second thing is, I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but there's two ALS BLS notifications that are non-specific. One is green, one is red. The low priority BLS or mid priority BLS ALS notification versus high priority. That allows the receiving facility to alter the volume and signal tone for the low priority. And the region also has a policy saying that if it's a low priority BLS notification, while the hospital is not responsible to answer the message or acknowledge it, they are responsible for the content within the notification. So this way they can go back and look to it if they need to. With regards to notifications and volume, regional volume is, I don't know if you guys are actively participating either on the ER side, EMS side, or both. Volume is through the roof. There's numerous call outs. There's staffing shortages, both on the pre-hospital and hospital side. This is looking just like 2020 all over again. So their EMS wall time is huge. I sent out a letter. I don't know if you guys saw it. Medical control had to actually go to the phone for 7 hours last night. It doesn't obviate the need for EMS providers to make the notification by eBridge, but we understand making 2 notifications is kind of ridiculous. And so we sort of let it slide, but everything is sort of snafu now, situation normal, whatever. But and we're back to baseline, and we're going to continue using eBridge as the notification tool. If you may notice, and I have seen this, trauma is not getting acknowledged by receiving trauma facilities, STEMI not being received, but not being acknowledged by receiving STEMI facility. That's the nurses that are in charge that are answering the eBridge or the staff are so busy that by the time they get to look at the computer, the patient's already arrived. So what we need to remind everybody is, so that medical control can intervene in a timely fashion, make your notification before you depart. Because if medical control has to divert you for a particular reason, like you may not be aware that the hospital you're intending to go to just received 3 critical patients and they only have 1 doctor in the ER. a doctor can't really divide themselves up into three places, but they do it so that fourth patient may be the straw that breaks the camel. So medical patrol may try to reach out to you, but if you're making your notification as you're backing in, you've done nothing for the patient, you've done nothing for yourself, and you've screwed over the ER as well. So you need to be a team player and make your notification before you depart the scene for your intended destination. And so please tell your providers that. And we're going to try and get on the hospital side, the hospitals to answer the notifications as timely as they can. Again, if there's issues with eBridge, please bring them up. We know to look when you tell us about them. But the eBridge volume is enormous, and it's been a great tool so far. So if you have questions or comments, please bring them to the REMAC or the eBridge committee. I think that's it.
On top of that also, just, for the agencies out there, checking of the diversion board, we have been in discussions with General Devices about incorporating that into the program. We don't want to push too far, too fast about getting that on there and taking hospitals out that may be on diversion. But it's the agency's responsibility to check the diversion, the redirection board prior to transporting to make sure that those hospitals are up and running. All right, so once again, when you're making those notifications, check that diversion board, and then once again, make your choice. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to incorporate that in. It'll take those decisions out with the help of General Devices. It's just, we're not there yet as far as that. But it's your responsibility to check that to make sure that they are available if there's no complications. Anything else for Dr. Hoover? Okay. We'll move on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Left on. Move on to new business. Which you have Lakeview. Motion, seconded motion that came before the council for Lakeview to drop down from the number 4 position on the 911 matrix to the number 6 position. And it's been adjusted once again in the matrix going forward. Once again, a motion to accept.
I make motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, so ordered. Expenditures, go ahead.
I need a motion to accept the or approve the expenditures.
Okay, seconded.
Second.
On the question? All approved? Okay. Last thing I have, once again, we have a contract that came to us that will be up for the General Devices eScribe service contract. Currently, once again, it is $2,600 for 1 year, and if we take a 2-year contract for the eBridge system, it will hold the price at $2,600. It'll be $5,200. It currently will expire on June 14th of 2024. The 2-year that would expire on 6/14/2025. If we take the 2-year at the same price, it will expire 6/14/26, be $5,200. Once again, if you'd like to make a motion on that, or once again, we can hold it over to March. Once again, we want to make sure that we have the contract enforced. As everybody knows, the server is paid for by the council. The program, the system is paid for by the different medical systems, the administrations of the various hospitals that we serve. The server gives us the option, once again, of being able to see for quality assurance, quality improvement of system-wide, and to mitigate any issues and stuff with that. Whereas the hospital, as well as the system itself, has their own servers. So the third server is once again able to look at both to make sure that if there's any agency problems, there's any hospital problems, that we can mitigate it and get it done and take care of it right away with that. So, I say, somebody'd like to make a motion,
I'll make a motion to.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we go with a 2-year contract.
2-year contract, once again, would, go from, June 14th, 2024 to June 14th, 2026, for a total of $5,200, with that. Second on that,
Andy Simone.
on the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? So ordered. All right. Once again, the last thing that was on for new business, which I will table at this time, was a TOA that was sent in for transfer of authority from the Wanto Fire Department to the Wanto Fire District. It's currently up, New York State, we've got no final determination on that. It was anticipation that we might have it back this week. But once again, we will wait until March. And we also have one that's currently in the state for Hicksville Fire Department, going to the Hicksville Fire District as well. So as I said, any agencies that are planning on transfer of authority or agency, once again, please let us know and we will assist you as best we can with that. Any other new business? Appointments to the council. Once again, I'd like to welcome Alina Nix once again to the council in that community seat, as well as Scott. We said Scott Kittergrad from the Nassau County Police Department and the Fire Police Academy. We also have 2 new alternates, George Martinez for that community seat to Alina Nix, and also welcome back to Dr. Victor Politi for the Nassau County administration seat to Gary Ferrucci. And so with that, anything of the good of the council?
I just have one question. So we've been trying to be better about getting the agendas and reminders out. I guess a question to everybody. Would you prefer those come in a calendar invite, which you can either accept or deny?
Yes.
That was my suspicion, but so be it. We'll do
Another
that moving
question
forward.
As
Thank you.
just reminded me. A question came up, and I'll throw this out there. I'll throw this out there to the council. And I know for years, once again, as Don said, the meetings have always been scheduled for the afternoon, first Wednesday of the month. And a couple of council members had asked me to bring up, if we were to change a couple of the meetings each year to a nighttime meeting with that. And like I said, I'll just throw it out there. You don't have to give me an answer today, something to think about. Bring it back in March. Wouldn't be naturally all the meetings currently are scheduled at 2 o'clock on that first Wednesday. But if anybody has any thought or once again has any issues, once again, that we could move 1 or 2 meetings per year to a nighttime format, once again, bring it back to us and we'll look at it in the next meeting. All right. So with that, I'll ask for a adjournment of the January meeting. The next scheduled REMSCO meeting will be on Wednesday, March 6, 2024. Location will be determined. The REMAC meeting is scheduled for January 31st, as Dr. Kugler mentioned. That will be held here at the Nassau County Public Safety Center starting at 2:15. And it will be live streamed out during that meeting. All right, so motion to adjourn.
Amen.
Okay, thank you all for coming.
Overnight.